97 minutes commercial free.
Non-stop hip-hop.
Coming up at 7 with Ebro in the morning. Woo! Hot 97.
More life. That's a gem for life. You know what I'm saying? You know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
man.
Nice.
And that song right there, you know, powerful words, man. He said, when I think it's all she wrote, and I'm looking for the antidote, I found that it's life.
It's life.
More life. More life. More living. You know what I'm saying? So get out there and live. You know? But do it safely.
It's almost so simple.
That's why it's such a bar, my guy. Ebro Laura Rosenberg, good morning. Good morning.
Good
Today,
morning.
the sun, it shines. Shines brightly. High 84 I got on deck. What do you got, Laura Styles?
I have a high of 86.
Yo, yesterday I was listening to 1010 Winds,
Wow.
moving around. And the weatherman just kept changing the high. He was like, earlier today I said it was going to be 81. It's 84. And then, like, I was in the car for a little bit. He came back on. He was like, you know, it's looking like 86. I was like, all right, man. It was a beautiful thing. How you doing today, Laura Styles? How's
Good.
young baby Light?
She's good. Everything is good. I had a rough night last night. You know when there's a mosquito in your room? That damn mosquito.
Oh, man.
Like, I seriously woke up like 5 times, guys. And you know when you could hear them in your ear and you want to grab them? Oh, man. I have a mosquito bite on my neck, on my finger. You know, the annoying. Oh, I had one of those.
If you got a fan, you got to put the fan on. They can't take the draft.
Oh, I got to figure it out. But I know Ricardo, I could hear him cursing in his sleep. Smacking himself. So we had one of those last night.
So annoying.
Ugh.
Yo, man, I might have been one of them nights where everybody just gets up and goes for the murder.
I know. Turn on all the lights and
Turn
let's
it
find
on.
this.
We're going to kill him.
But that's what happened to us last night.
Yo, am I the only one that giggles a little bit when you see, like, old white people on TV now using the word woke? Did I miss where this just became, like, the term now?
Yeah, I
never
saw
seen
you.
that.
I saw you post that. It was a very late thought. That's been happening.
Really?
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yes.
Because, like, I thought it was, like, I don't know, here and there, but now it feels like every time I turn around, it's like, well, the woke left. And it's like, wait, what?
Oh yeah, it became a full thing.
Woke liberals. And the irony in it is, so they don't want people who are aware. They're angry at people who are aware of things. Because that's what the term is about. It's about awareness, consciousness. Don't sleep. Right? Because that's how the whole thing started. Back, remember people be like, yo, don't sleep. And then, like, stay aware. Stay awake.
Right.
Conscious. Yo, I got my third eye open. That means that your mind is thinking and seeing, and you know what I'm saying? You're looking past what is apparent.
Everyone
You're
else
seeing
is asleep.
Everybody else is asleep. Zombies.
Stay woke. Keep your head on the swivel. Be alert.
And then, but it was, it's slang.
Right.
Now they use it to like refer to people that are quote like ultra sensitive.
Right.
Really?
Yes.
See, Shawnee,
Ultra-sensitive
you
in
see?
what way? What you mean?
Fam, it's ridiculous because if someone says a racist joke and you take offense to it, you're sensitive.
You're woke.
You're sensitive, Shawnee. When did everybody get so sensitive?
Joke, because right now it's a very politically correct climate. So if they say something politically incorrect, and
And
you're
you have a
sensitive
problem
to
with
that,
it. And
then-
you have a problem with
Yes.
it, you're woke.
wow,
How did that spun the whole thing, right?
they spun it. Wow,
Fam, it's crazy.
Yo,
It's
and that's why I
crazy.
cackle.
No one
That's
can
why
say-
it's funny.
No one can say racist jokes anymore? Jeez. That's it.
Wow.
And by the way, I just want to reiterate, you can absolutely say racist jokes. Just take the heat. Take
Right.
the heat.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
Yo, but most of the people that are mad about it are people who have just been made it their business to be offensive their entire time. So, like, if you've just been able to say anything you want at any time,
Right.
now you're mad that somebody's going to check you.
Yes, pretty
Or
much.
you might lose a sponsor.
Pretty much.
Right.
What's
I think
yo,
that
that's the
it's
most
funny,
privileged thing
though,
I ever heard of.
that you want to say what you want to say.
I want to say what I want to say. I don't care who I offend. All right, go.
Right. That almost feels like a different topic, though. But yeah, that's weird. But the people who are like, no, you can't say what you want to say, no matter what it is, are like, now they're woke. Because some things are like,
And to top it off, Shawnee, the same people that are like offended by you being offended are the same people who are like, but free speech. Exactly.
Right, that is true.
Yo, that's funny.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the word was totally before it was like immediately co-opted. And now
What,
it's that-
stay woke or woke? I'm
It's
woke.
not stay woke. It's about people being woke.
Being woke.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there are also older white people who use it in a way that's not offensive and it still sounds stupid.
Really?
Like, give me an example. What do you
Like
mean?
what,
Well, first of
Rosenberg?
all, the way that they're using it's not offensive. It's ridiculous.
Right, like they'll be like, "Well, no, listen, it's good that Kyrie Irving is so woke. It's good."
Well, that just sounds corny.
Exactly. It's not in a bad way, it's just corny.
But it is a good thing that Kyrie is so woke.
Well, right. That's why I use that as an example.
I don't even use woke anymore.
Right. Because it's different now. It changed in 2020.
Well, because it felt like it was a Twitter joke. Because I never really used it in real life.
right. It was.
I don't remember using woke in real life. It was conscious.
Right.
It was more like something you just said on Twitter, like, yo, I'm woke. Maybe I use stay woke in real life. Like, yo, stay woke.
It was like a joke in the beginning.
I thought it was.
Yeah. Now it's like they took it and ran with it.
Yo, Shawnee, man, the woke left. They're going to ruin everything.
Right. It's It's weird. It's weird, man.
They're aware of our white supremacy and our offensive ways.
Well, that is why they hate it so much. I mean, think about it. That's not good for them.
Right.
They want everyone to be asleep.
Exactly.
They're going to ruin everything, being all aware of what's going on. How dare you?
All these woke people out here. Look, I'm going to use it the way they use it now. They woke. They woke. All those woke people.
Who we got online? Shenanigan time. Let's get to it, man. We got Ali and Alex.
That's right.
Alex and Ali.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Hey. Good morning, Ebro.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for checking in. Alex, where are you checking in from?
Good morning. I'm checking in from Jersey.
And where are you headed this morning? Shout out your job and what you do and all that.
Well, I'm working from home. I'm a cardiac tech, so I don't have to drive anywhere this morning.
Very nice. That's a pleasant morning.
There you go.
Stay out of traffic. And Ali, what about you?
Yes, sir. I'm from the Bronx, but I'm heading to Delphi University in Long Island.
Okay. You go to school there? You teach there? What goes on?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said you go to school there? You teach there?
No. I work on their tech units over there, their telecoms and everything.
Okay, tech dude. Tech guy.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Alex, who you want to represent you today, me or Laura Styles?
My girl Laura.
All right, now. All right,
Let's
now.
go.
60 seconds on the clock. Shawnee with the question.
Question.
Let's play. Laura never loses.
Right
Here we
Go.
go.
Okay. Who did Fat Joe call?
Ebro.
Ebro.
DJ Khaled.
That's right. The Quincy Jones of hip hop. What is the lowest Army rank?
Ebro.
Ebro.
Private.
That is
Oh my
correct. Of a
gosh.
U.S. soldier. Chance the Rapper said
Laura.
he wants to. Laura.
He wants to remake Home Alone.
Home Alone is correct. Which European country has 158 verses to
Ebro.
its...
Laura.
Ebro.
European country with 158 verses.
3,
That sounds like
2,
something Spain would
1.
do.
Oh, I was going to say Spain, too.
Incorrect. Which European country has 158 verses to its national anthem?
I have no idea then.
France?
Incorrect. Greece is the answer.
Ah,
What is
okay.
the name of the new Migos
Laura.
song?
Ebro.
Laura.
Culture 3.
Culture 3, it's a tie game. According to the Bible, what town was Jesus born?
Laura.
Laura.
In Bethlehem.
Bethlehem is correct. In an interview of Prince Harry by
Laura.
Laura,
The interview with Prince Harry and Oprah.
Oprah is correct.
Norway!
Oh, my God.
It's the big beastful.
Yeah.
Come from behind. Hey, yo, pause. Win.
Yeah.
Well done, Laura. Yo, Alex, who you shouting out to out there?
First of all, I want to shout out to y'all for making my morning every morning.
Oh, thank
Yay.
you. We shout out to you for the love.
And shout out to my family, shout out to my friends, and thank you for having me this morning.
You are so welcome. And have a great day working from home. Ali, we love you too. Out there at Adelphi University. And on the way, flashing lights, Laura Styles.
Coming up in a flashing lights report, guys. This is messy. T.I. and Tiny are under investigation by the Los Angeles Police Department.
Oh, man, they still getting it. huh?
More, yes. I'll give you the details on what's happening coming up next.
Fam. Sex parties, man. Listen, stop trying to reenact porn out here, y'all. You know what I'm saying? With drugs and all that. It's dangerous.
Yo, no. You know what we got to do, Shawnee Culture? It's early. We got to start the day right with that J. Cole.
What we doing? Which one?
Pride is the devil.
Pride is the devil.
This song, right? This might be my favorite J. Cole song ever right here.
It's good.
This song's something.
Good.
With Lil Baby.
Little baby.
Let it go, son.
Wait, hold up. I don't know if they labeled it right.
No, it's in there. Pride is the devil. Maybe it was labeled Pride is a devil.
I put Cole and put Pride on. Oh, there, he got all types of periods. See, J. Cole tried to be different this time.
Yeah, there's
You know
lots
what
of
I'm saying?
periods. Lots of periods.
Right. All right. This is the way they doing it.
New music right here. Brand new J. Cole called Pride is the Devil. Pride is the devil. Pride is the devil.
Pride is the devil. That joint.
That's a fact.
Yo, so Apple Music has these charts where you can look at the most streamed records per city. The New York City Top 25, Pride is the Devil, #1 song in New York City right now. Number 2 is also J. Cole. They just put a video up for that, Amari. And number 3 is My Life, J. Cole. Number 4 is that Rowdy Rebel, A Boogie. 9 Bridge, y'all heard that? That
Yeah, I
joint
heard that.
crazy. And then Nicki with Drake and Wayne. That we already love that joint, Seeing Green. That's the top 5 in New York right now.
It's interesting that nobody thinks that like hip hop is sustainable, but then J. Cole drops an album that's entirely that, and he's familiar. People like him already, and all of a sudden, you can make whatever kind of dope hip hop you want.
Wait, when did people say that hip hop? Are we still doing that?
I mean, there's not a lot of artists that get played that make the kind of records J. Cole makes.
Well, maybe because they can't make the records,
That's part of it. I just
or
think-
they're afraid to try to make. See, because the other thing is the type of records that a Kendrick Cole make, even Drake make, take time and effort. It's not a slap together situation.
No, that's true. But I think it's also familiarity with J. Cole. He's
Absolutely. Absolutely get some of that too. Let's go. Flashing lights. Laura Styles. Let's do it.
Laura Styles got the 411 on the flash lights.
Man, so according to reports from TMZ and others, an LA accuser identified as Jane Doe claims that sometime in the early 2005, she met T.I. and Tiny at a club, accepted a drink from Tiny, went back to a hotel with other people, and to make a long story short, to leave out a lot of details, ended up blacking out and claims that she felt like she engaged in non-consensual sex, aka rape. That's what she's saying. So, authorities also in Las Vegas were investigating them, but they closed that case because they didn't have enough evidence. But this is happening right now with T.I. and Tiny.
Well, that's a very similar story that's already been out there now a few times.
Yeah,
So these are the same stories, but now officially being investigated by the authorities.
pretty much.
They
Yeah.
have gone beyond just an allegation. Now it's an allegation plus an investigation.
I don't know if this is a different person.
Right, it might be a different
This-
person, but
this
it
is a
all
different
kinda-
person from the one in Las Vegas, Rosenberg.
Right, but they're all similar stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the situation that happened in Vegas went down in 2010. But, the Las Vegas Police Department basically said it falls outside the statute of limitations, so the case has been closed.
Well, can we talk about other cases?
So, I mean, listen, T.I. and Tiny are saying that this is a money grab, that none of this actually happened. So I don't know.
Well,
We're just
even
gonna
if
have to wait.
T.I. and Tiny don't settle out and however this goes, right? All of these allegations do not bode well for, just the overall family brand.
Yeah.
Well, and also if that's a police investigation, that's not a money grab.
So I don't know, guys.
Well, only because it goes criminal and then somebody can do a civil lawsuit, right, and get the money.
Right. And you don't even need the criminal lawsuit
For the civil.
necessarily for the civil lawsuit. Yeah.
But you need an investigation to try to get all the details together, correct?
I guess so. Oh, no, man. These stories are not.
They're not good. It's not good.
No.
And
The
T.I.,
sexual-
when he
Go
did his
ahead.
live, Laura, a couple months ago, I mean, he basically, he sort of acknowledged that they have a sex life that's not common and just said it's not what people are saying that it is.
Right. I mean, they claim that it's all been consensual sex.
But this is where I have Ebro. This is where Ebro is in my head because he often preaches this. People can think things are consensual, but if you're partying with people and doing all kinds of illegal substances, that line gets incredibly blurry.
Yeah. So, these sexual assault allegations have been mounting against the couple, against both of them. And, T.I. was even sued for defamation by a woman who claimed he trashed her reputation when he denied the allegations. It's just getting really messy, guys. It's getting really
It's been messy.
Ugh.
Lord, it's been messy.
Yep.
So we'll
It's
see,
been
man.
messy.
We shall see.
I'm equally excited about this mess over here, though, because the Attorney General of New York State has now officially turned the inquiry into the Trump Organization to a criminal investigation.
I saw that.
Wow. So what does that mean?
Tish James, our girl from Brooklyn, Manhattan, and let's see here, Cy Vance says, quote, "We are now actively investigating the Trump Organization in a criminal capacity. It is no longer purely civil." And that's the state attorney general along with the Manhattan DA. And that's the only comment.
Yeah, we don't know what it means yet, Laura, but they're changing the tone of the investigation.
Gotcha. All right. That's your flashing lights report. At the time is 7:04. Today, alternate side parking rules are in effect, and it's going to be beautiful today. A high of 88 degrees, sunshine.
Yo, congratulations. You played yourself. Goes to Rosenberg coming up. His Celtics decided they wanted to win a game yesterday.
Rosenberg?
He wanted them to lose. What are you going to do now, Rosenberg? You still rooting against your team?
No, I'm going to have to suffer through a net series.
Losers.
Yeah, all right. They're going to make sure they wear this out. Shawnee, was it you and I talking about how nothing may happen while Donald Trump is president, but after he's done, they're going to try to work and wear him out?
Yeah, because they don't want him to run again or anything like that, right? But I still don't feel like there's going to be repercussions for him. Somebody's got to, go
Well,
down.
it's never, so far, evidence suggests it's never him.
Right.
Yo,
You know what
I
I'm
think he might send Ivanka to jail. before he goes. He'll put his kids in jail before he goes to jail.
He's like, I'm the moneymaker here. I hold you down.
Yeah, like you'll be all right. I only got a few hours left on Earth. I'm almost 80. When's he turn 80, Rosenberg? How old is he now?
I don't know. I think he's
72?
like 70. Yeah, he's not that old. It's not as old as you'd like.
But so with them being under investigation, what now? What do you think is going to happen? Or is this just
I
a
don't
part of
know.
the movie?
It's all a part of this episode.
74, by the way.
It's all a part of this episode. And evil people like Donald Trump live a long time.
For real, right?
Facts. They live a long time. But anyway, the criminal investigation is popping off. And for everybody over there, if you still work at the Trump organization, you haven't resigned.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
They about to go through all your emails, cell phone records, bank records. They own you.
Big league.
Do we still think he's going to run next time?
I mean, if ain't nothing standing in the way, I think his ego's too big to not run.
Well, he's gonna. I heard that this summer he's gonna start the touring again.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's ready to get out there and start talking again.
Yo, the stand-up
man.
routine's about to be so lit again.
So, but we'll see how that plays out for him, because that may just make people want to push the investigations further.
Right. And there was the rumor of Kamala running in the next term, too. Do we think that's happening?
I think we started that rumor.
That was that
was the Ebro, right?
That we is Ebro. That is Ebro. You said that. That
He's
is.
like, and you know she's going to be
And you know
running
Joe
next time.
Biden's too
He's a
old.
one-term
He's a
president.
one-term president.
Yeah,
Kamala's going next.
This is the setup.
That's
You know
what I'm saying.
We get him in. He
First
gets
woman,
hand up.
First woman, black woman. Let's go.
Now we don't know.
No, I know, but I started it.
Yeah,
So
he knows. So it's still the same as what he thought at the beginning.
So Ebro gets the button.
Not yet. If I'm right, y'all get the button. We'll wait. We can wait.
We wait for it.
We'll wait. Laura, what you got today?
So this dude by the name of Antoine Deshawn Broadnax, better known as Bugsy the Don, he's a rapper. He decided it was a good idea to pose in front of a U.S. Capitol Police SWAT truck during the Capitol riots. With an American flag and a cigar, he took a photo and made it the album cover to his new project.
Oh yeah.
It's called The Capitol. So now he's under federal investigation. And when he was being interrogated, he admitted that he did go inside the Capitol. But he's like, but all I want to do is take some pictures. And
You're a liar.
wait, but the craziest thing is he thought that he could just get away with being like, I just went inside because I wanted to take some pictures. No, fam, you entered illegally. You can't do that. So
The president invited him, though.
So he's being charged with trespassing, unlawful entry, or disorderly conduct, all kind of ish. And he's getting hit left and right. And he thought this was it. This was a good idea. Let me see. While everybody is charging the Capitol, let me just pose. And look, I got my new album cover.
When I read it,
This guy, I remember this guy.
You
Yeah,
do?
it was a thing on the internet because he was walking around in the Capitol with these red sweats on, and he just stood out amongst all the MAGA maniacs, and everybody was like, "Who is this guy? Why is he there?" And I remember seeing him over and over and over on the internet because people that were in the Capitol were taking pictures, and he was just in the pictures in the background, walking around all the time, and I'm like, "Oh, this guy's gonna."
Yo, I'm about to go listen to the album.
Oh my
Bugsy the
gosh,
Dawn you going with?
what a
That's what he's going
moron.
Well, because I'm highly offended when people call
yourself.
I'm highly offended when somebody gets in trouble and they're like rapper, but meanwhile they don't pay none of their bills rapping. You're not a rapper. You're a wannabe rapper. You want to be a rapper.
What a mess.
That's what you're trying to be.
but that's the big congrats
can't-
too, is because I saw it and I was like, oh, he just he made his album cover. Okay, oh, they're just gonna come after him because he's black and he was there and he made an album cover. And then I read he said he just went inside to take some pictures. I was like, why'd you go inside? Why don't you just take the picture and keep it moving?
Congratulations.
I can't find it.
You played yourself.
On the streaming services, music on streaming services?
Are you saying that the
Bugsy
guy?
the Dawn.
You saying that the guy? Who
How you
took
spelling Bugsy?
I'm surprised he didn't handle
B-U-G-S-Y,
getting his stuff
right?
on
Attention.
streaming services.
I'm trying to get him popping out here. Listen.
I think
Don't
he's
be
already
mad at
been
him
impressed.
because he used a marketing. How do you spell it?
Bugzie.
Oh, He's
Losers.
here. He is.
Rosenberg,
Bugsy
what do you
the
got?
Don, the capital.
Let's see, Laura Stiles. I gotta give it to any adults who get into fistfights. I just saw a video moving around of these. Do you see the two women fighting in the Little Caesars, Laura?
No.
Yo, first of all, it's a savage beatdown. I mean, it's just not even close, right? But then the girl who's getting beat down, her toddler, her 2-year-old, is in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And so it's a congrats both directions, right? Like, how do you get yourself in that altercation when you're with your toddler? And then if you're the other lady, how are you beating someone this badly with her daughter literally on top of her? And then also, what could you possibly be fighting about in the Little Caesars that's that important?
I don't know, them 2 for $5. I remember back in the day.
300 hamburgers.
Yeah.
Many French
Listen.
fries.
Yeah, one was the worker.
See,
And the
you
other
see
was
what I'm
the
saying?
customer.
Where I want 2 pizzas. How much is it now? 2 pizzas
Right.
for how much?
Right. The customer had her child with her and the worker. And you don't really see how it started.
But here's the
At
thing,
least I did.
Johnny,
You
this is why
just
I'm
see
giving-
from the worker coming around the counter and it goes down.
But where I'm at in 2021 is I don't really care how it started. Like, you're getting into a bloody fist fight, like literally a screaming, bloody,
Yeah, it was crazy.
drag someone on the street fight. For what?
It was real.
For what is going to be the end game win for you, for either of the people involved, regardless of what the circumstance was?
2 free pizzas.
Congratulations. You played
I don't know
yourself.
why you acting like this, Rosenberg.
He's woke. He's woke.
Rosenberg, I don't know why you acting like this, man.
Wait, but why would you fight for free pizza? I don't understand.
Right.
I don't know, man. I need to know what the promotion was.
You know what I'm saying? Hit the button.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
Come on, man.
I can't believe the toddler didn't throw hands. Was the toddler throwing hands?
Yeah.
She was trying to protect her mom, but it was...
Horrible.
Y'all didn't see it? Laura, you saw it?
No.
I didn't see this
I'm
one.
about to. I don't.
But we're not done.
It's a lie.
Give it to Rosenberg, who was rooting against his own basketball team last night, the Boston Celtics. He wanted them to lose. And what did they do? Win. Handily.
Well, Jason Tatum decided to throw a wrench in my plans and score 50 points last night. I'll tell you this. When Jason Tatum is at the best version of him, he's in the conversation for as good as anyone at basketball. He's that good.
No, he's incredible.
And last night he was in that zone where it's like, just don't even bother with him. He's scoring. And now, guess what we get? The Brooklyn Nets hit the button.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
Okay.
That was terrible, Shawnee. What's going on with you?
I don't know what happened.
Yo, and while we're on the Brooklyn Nets, and congratulations, you played yourself, there's 2 things. De Blasio, don't need to see you in a Brooklyn Nets hat and jersey. Didn't need to see that yesterday.
Yeah.
Also, we all missed De Blasio promoting Shake Shack to get people vaccines. Did you guys see this?
I saw it this morning.
Yo,
That was horrible.
That's old. The fries, that's old. The new one was the Brooklyn Nets one.
yo, what's your man? Yo, your man's turned into a comedy skit on his way out the job.
Yo,
So
straight
the
crime.
fries, Shake Shack was a couple of weeks ago where he was
I
like,
missed
hey,
it
you know,
completely.
Yeah, it
They're
was a
giving
couple
out
weeks ago.
vaccines with Shake Shack.
No. If you go into Shake Shack and you showed your vaccine card, you would get free fries, right? And then yesterday, was it yesterday? It might have been yesterday, the day before. He was dressed in a full-on Brooklyn Nets kit.
Yo, hat,
But it's funny because he had the
jersey.
hat on, but he had the jersey under his unbuttoned shirt. So it's like Superman's alive. With that.
Yo, no, and I'm watching the French fry video right now. What really
Oh
offends
my
me about this
God.
is that he picks up the French fries. He picks them up and holds like 3 in his hand the way someone would. And then he bites the front half of them and
Right.
puts the rest down.
Right.
I was like, you
Who
didn't
does that?
finish the 3 fries?
Yo, hit De Blasio with the button. What's going on out here?
Congratulations. You played yourself.
Ebro in the morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Cast 1, 97 minutes commercial free. Chong. Some neighborhoods you don't want to leave your door open.
That's a fact.
Ebro, Laura Rosenberg, good morning. Coming up, DJ John. He's been having prizes every day, so you want to pay attention. We got some more shenanigans to get to. Thank you for locking in with us. Much love. Very interesting article. Question is, who do you believe? Talking about an article I see here in the Daily News coming at Edwin Raymond, who we'll have on the show later on today. He's running for city council in the 40th district. He put out Crime and Punishment, the documentary that you can see on all DSPs, about the NYPD quota system. Mm-hmm. And he and other police officers were told that they needed to target certain people, black people specifically, people of color, with collar quotas to get, summonses up. But now the NYPD is going back at him, saying that the reason he didn't get promoted was he was just lazy.
And insubordinate.
And Edwin Raymond, which he'll be vocal about later on in our conversation, says he refused to participate in their quota system.
Well, that would be insubordinate.
He's saying the irony of calling me lazy when you're just sending us to fill quotas instead of actually trying to protect the community.
Exactly.
And because I didn't want to be lazy and actually arrest people who are doing crimes and not just fill quotas, you're now calling me lazy and insubordinate. It's ridiculous.
So that's why I started this by, now who do you believe? Because I'm telling y'all down at the NYPD, y'all don't really have a lot of credibility right now. Y'all can keep running this charade, living inside your own bubble, where you think that the community just doesn't even question y'all or your behavior anymore. Or like it was, I guess there was a time, I don't know, in my world, there was never a time where we didn't question the behavior of police officers, but I'm sure there's a world where people live and they're like, well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
That's not my world.
Law and order. Law and
So now Edwin Raymond is running for city council, and we'll have him on the program later on today. In the 40th district over there, which is basically Flatbush. Mm-hmm. I think parts of Canarsie, et cetera, et cetera. Tibor Rosenberg, what were you going to say, Rosenberg?
It's just both, of course, are probably true.
Right.
He not the part about him being lazy, but that, of course, to them he was that, and to them he was insubordinate because he was against what they were doing.
Right.
And you think they're just going to accept that he was this vocal about exposing the wrongs of the NYPD? He's going to expose that and then run for office, and they're not going to say anything? Come on. He had to expect this battle was coming.
True. He said it's not been an easy fight.
Nah, and it's not going to be easy if he runs for office, too. He knows that, though. This is what he's been doing.
Call right now, 800-223-9797, if you believe you are smarter than the DJ John. It's the DJ John.
Good morning.
DJ John.
Hello.
DJ John.
What up, though?
What up, though? Yo, John Loopy made sure to hit me this morning when he was getting his kids ready for school to say, yo, put some respect on my Knicks.
I mean, that's facts. That's right. Stupid.
Profound.
Stupid.
Give it up for DJ John. That was
Thank you,
profound.
John. That was great, man.
That's right. You stupid.
You stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy. That should be the Knicks' new slogan for the playoff run.
No.
That's
stupid?
right. You stupid? What are you, dumb?
I believe they're going to win this first round.
That's where you going now.
Yep. I mean, I believe they're going to take it all the way because I'm a true fan. But for this round, we're going to win.
So you believe the Knicks are going to go all the way to the championship? Yo, that would be such an amazing run. And by the way, I'm here for it.
I know you are.
I'm here. I don't believe it, but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm tuned in.
So I could gloat all over you guys for who doubted the Knicks. Any non-believers out there.
If we could just get a Knicks-Nets series, that would be
great.
I mean, you guys also realize the Eastern Conference Finals is Marv Albert's last series ever in basketball. How perfect if it was the Knicks.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That'd be great. feel like the '90s again, all over.
Well,
On
before that,
paper,
he was Nick's voice.
On paper and on the stats, they're set to, go all the way because they
Wait,
put in the
John's
work.
reading stats. Okay, this is the turn.
Oh
You
God,
know what
why
I
are
mean?
we
This
doing
is a
this?
whole other
Why?
segment. John reads the stats.
My
And
goodness.
I don't know how correctly he was reading them. What were you about to say? The stats say what?
They have 4 or 5 team players that are shooting above 40% of three-point line.
Yo, quote of the day. Quote of the day. Give it up for DJ John right there.
You're gonna see that quoted on Sports Center later.
You know what I'm saying?
They had the 40% for Freeport.
You know what I
4
mean?
or 5
man?
team players.
Wait, hold on. He said the 405 team players shooting 40% from Freeport. That is literally what John just said.
That's how it sounded.
Don't know what you mean.
This mic, this mic is crazy. I don't know what this mic's
Nah,
doing. to
I'm
me.
telling y'all, it's a new segment. John reads the stats, man.
It's a good call.
What do you got to give away, John?
Oh man, look, I-97 is kicking off this summer by hooking you up with all the ultimate summer experience. So that means if you're caller number 9, will win a pair of Six Flags tickets. Everyone who wins will qualify for a barbecue experience pack or prize pack, which includes a $200 gift card and will include like a whole barbecue accessory set. You know what I'm saying? A barbecue kit. You know what I'm saying? Made by High 97 and Republic Records, baby.
Who we got online, Shawnee Culture?
We got Jandel.
Jandel.
What up? What up?
Jandel, what's popping, baby? Where you headed right now?
What's up, Ebro, Laurel Rosenberg?
Good morning.
What up?
That's a cool name. I like that name. Cool.
All right, John.
Jandel, you all right in the car over there? What you doing, man? What's the problem?
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
You gotta listen. You gotta talk
I'm
to us
here.
through the phone. Don't talk to the radio, bro.
Yeah, I'm talking to you through the phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Listen carefully here. Laura's got a question for you. Answer quick so you can be smarter than DJ John and get laced up for the summer and cookouts and a gift card and all that.
All right, here we go. Here's your question, okay? Pay attention. Can you tell us, okay, what state was Snoop Dogg born in?
Take off the speaker. Take your phone off the speaker.
California?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Wow. Bam. Nailed it.
Boom.
All right, DJ John, here's your question, okay? Snoop has never had one of his albums nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammys, but he's been nominated on 2 artist albums. Who are the 2 artists?
Pharrell and Robin Thicke.
Ooh.
It's actually Katy Perry and Kendrick Lamar.
You're so close, though, in that you got neither right.
I would never believe that, but whatever.
John.
Katy Perry?
Focus on the stat sheet, John.
Oh, yeah.
Lindell. Or is it Jindal?
Jandel.
Jandel. Jandel. Sorry about that.
Jandel.
Jandel. Who you shouting out to, my guy? Run it.
Shout out to my lady, Michaela. Shout out to my family, Adaury, Miguel, Luz. Shout out to Motion Express. My job where I work at in Elizabeth, New Jersey. You feel me? Shout out to Chris. And shout out to Ebro Lauren Rosenberg for having me on the show.
My God, Jandel.
You're not gonna shout out We Seen, bro?
We Seen.
I forgot to shout out my boy DJ John too, yo.
Yeah. What about We Seen? What about We Seen?
Huh?
We ain't seen in Yandel. Hang on, we gotta get some info from you, Yandel. Hang on 1 second. On the way, Flashing Lights, Laura Styles.
Coming up in Flashing Lights, I'll let you know all the huge retailers that are getting rid of this mask situation, guys. Listen, it's about to be open. I'll give you the details on this coming up. Flashing Lights.
Yo,
wow.
Cass, is it Nicki Minaj, Drake, Lil Wayne time? Little Seeing Green, some bars. You know what I mean? Young Money Records taking over for the 99 and 2000. Ebro, Laura Rosenberg, good morning. It's time for the Flashing Lights. Laura Styles, come on with it.
Laura Styles got the 411 on the flashing lights.
All right, guys. Now, following the news that the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, updated its guidelines to include fully vaccinated Americans, can now engage in a host of activities without wearing a mask. Okay? So now it just got announced that Target, Macy's, Best Buy, Home Depot, and a few more have formally ended their mask requirements for those who are fully vaccinated.
And how do you prove if you're are they like asking for you to show your CDC app, or maybe you got to show your card or something? Like how are they?
Fam,
how are they doing this to verify?
There isn't. There's no verification. It's like an honor system. Oh, you're not wearing a mask? Oh, I'm vaccinated.
Okay, all right, cool.
You good.
Cool. All right,
So basically, guys, you on your own.
Right. It's
Okay,
whatever.
so wear the mask inside the store if you want extra protection.
Right.
Because everyone is going to just be running loosey-goosey, and you never know who has the Rona.
Run those stores again?
Target,
No.
Macy's, Best Buy, Home Depot.
They know their target audience.
Right. That's big. And remember
So-
that the masks are predominantly if you have it, to protect from spreading it, mainly. So
Yes.
Right, because they're getting tested all the time to make sure that they have it, or to
Right.
make sure that they don't have it, so that when they go to these stores, they could know that they need to wear a mask if they have it. Right, Shawnee?
Yeah.
Because
Of
people,
course, of
people are
course.
on top of it. They're on top of it.
And also,
of
I
course.
think that they were always being very literal about the fact that the mask is more effective at protecting other people from you. Me personally, Peter Rosenberg, I wear a mask to protect myself also.
Me too.
I don't care what any doctor tells me. You could bring Sanjay Gupta into my house. If I cover my mouth and nose, it helps me too. I don't care.
So,
I'm gonna wear a mask when I go to
I
places.
mean, I think that the whole, like Rosenberg is saying, the whole idea of them trying to play on your concern for your fellow,
that was their
human
mistake.
being, was them saying, listen, it's really to help other people.
And people
People
said,
were
I
like,
don't give a damn.
Care about people.
I don't give a damn
They-
about
they
other people. I don't want to wear a mask.
They should have said the only way to protect yourself is for you to wear a mask, and people would have worn a mask.
wasn't that the
I still don't
theory
think
in
they
the
would have wore a
beginning?
mask, by the way.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
What'd you say, Sean?
But now,
Wasn't that in the very beginning they were stating like everybody wear a mask? In the very beginning, like when the pandemic first
Yeah.
hit, it was like, look, everybody put on
That's
a
right.
mask.
That's right.
But
And
yeah, but
then
protect you and other people.
Right, but then they wanted to make it even more,
Right.
and the love and the camaraderie we have in this country is so strong, where we're concerned about our fellow neighbor. they felt like, look, to really drive this home, help protect other people.
so Target is saying, look, face coverings will continue to be strongly recommended for guests and team members who are not fully vaccinated. He's like, and we'll continue to increase safety cleaning measures, including social distancing in our stores. So,
They moving on.
so protect
You
your
on?
face.
Yeah, they like, listen, we need these numbers up. Home Depot's like, look, it's gardening season and DIY home improvement season. We need to open this up. You know what I mean? Target's like, look,
poppin'.
we need people back in here. Macy's like, we suffered enough. This Herald Square, let's get it popping.
Come on,
What
come
we
on.
doing?
Home Depot's been ringing. Yeah, I don't think they're worried about that. I think they're more worried about just the look. 'Cause shopping has been popping at Home Depot.
A word? You spend a lot of time in there.
Home
Whenever I
Depot
go
been
in there,
lit.
it's a lot of people in there. It's a lot of people.
Just enjoy it while we have it, because there's no guarantee. If you look at what's happening in other countries right now, it's not a given that this moment is going to last.
Well, I mean, we hope that these vaccines work. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot. We have something that many countries don't have, which is money and a lot of vaccines.
And we also have another thing other countries don't have. Half the population that doesn't want to take it.
Yeah, and those other countries, they want to take it. They just don't have it.
Correct.
Right.
We have it and don't want it.
That's how life
Hit
is,
the
right?
hit the button on the entire country. 'Cause That's
Life is.
insane.
That's your flash and lecture, but the time is 8 a.m. Wow, I just looked at my iPhone. It says today will be a high of 88.
Oh, it keeps going.
It keeps
See, they keep
going.
changing the numbers.
Sunshine. Alternate side parking rules are in effect.
They have Dr. Fauci. We have Rosenberg. Who do you believe?
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You see me?
WQHT and WQHT HD1 New York. Ebro in the morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Hot 97.
Here we go again. Lock in. It's time to go around Jump on the merry-go-round of COVID-19 vaccine mask.
Round and round.
Round and round. Round we go. Prepare yourself as Shawnee asks random questions to overcomplicate.
That's what it is.
The latest.
No,
to overcomplicate the latest change.
That's what
the COVID pandemic.
That's what ultimately the conversation is. And it's not just Shawnee. It's that the CDC gives these guidelines. Listen, I said this very clearly. I think they made a mistake last week. I don't think they should have told people no mask. I don't think it was a good idea, but they did. That said,
they said no mask if
you're vaccinated.
Boom.
Right.
And here comes, let's not say Shawnee. Let's call him Ronnie. Here comes a random person.
No, let's say Shawnee. Let's say Shawnee.
Okay, fine. Shawnee then goes, but I don't get it because if you get the vaccine, you can still spread it.
That's facts.
So why would you not wear a mask? And why would others have to wear a mask if you can still spread it if you're vaccinated?
Yeah, and I wasn't aggressive. I'm just like,
I'm not aggressive at all. And I admit I am the one who usually gets aggressive.
Yeah,
you are not aggressive.
Feisty. You got real feisty.
You are not aggressive.
It doesn't take much, Shawnee.
Yeah, no, stop. However, what I said about Shawnee was, and I think Ebro and Laura will agree, what you do when you ask those questions is you muddy up the conversation that's really not complicated. They're saying, go get a vaccine and then do whatever you want.
Right.
And you're saying, well, it doesn't make sense because you could still spread it, but what about this and what about that? And they're like, nah, just get the vaccine and do whatever you want. And if you don't, you should still be wearing a mask.
Right. When really we know that these big companies are like, just come and bring your money and we don't really care.
See, now you jump to a separate
you muddied again.
Combo.
I'm muddying it again. All right, so we know the bottom line.
Often, and too often, human beings in the United States of America, I don't know what happens around the world, I just know in the United States of America, conflate corporations and health officials.
They want people to care, man.
They conflate the government and health officials.
Right.
They are not the same. Target, Macy's, Home Depot, who else is on the list? Costco. They are corporations. They want feet walking through the door to shop.
Right, and money spent.
And the more they can get to do that, the more money is spent. And the way they can do that right now is by saying, hey, we got an honor system going. Mm-hmm. If you're vaccinated, don't worry about wearing a mask in our stores. Now, how do they prove if you're vaccinated? They'll ask you a question. Maybe when you stop for a salami sampler, they'll give you the toothpick and go, hey, are you vaccinated? And you'll say, yeah, why not? I am. And you'll take your salami and go on about your business. Meanwhile, you're lying about being vaccinated.
Even if you have a mask on, you got to take, and you're not vaccinated, you got to take the mask off to eat the salami.
And you see what just happened right there? Once again, a human being in America muddying the conversation
or trying to make
with
sense
shenanigans.
of it. Well,
but
no,
also,
trying to clear up the mud because we know the whole thing is messy. It's messy.
It's really not.
Let's keep it a buck. It's
really not messy.
It has been
They
messy.
wanted everybody to wear a mask because they didn't know what the F was going on and people was dying. And people had a problem with that.
That is
right.
really
That's a part of the whole mess. That's a messy thing, too.
Because people made it messy. We don't know what's going on. We're trying to save your life. Please wear a mask.
Right. We don't know what's going on.
I would say that's my biggest source of frustration, Shawnee, and I'm not going as far as calling you an...
But wait. Everybody, just wait. So now, these stores are saying you can go in there if you're vaccinated. They're not checking any sort of paperwork, according to what we've read. They're not checking the CDC app, which could have your QR code and say your name and vaccinated. They're not doing none of that. They're just saying you can go in there. These stores are not healthcare professionals. They are not the government. The CDC, which are healthcare professionals and work with the government, are saying you should be wearing a mask if you are not vaccinated. That's what they are saying. They're also not confirming, because they don't have proof yet, to what degree somebody that is vaccinated can spread the virus. They don't know. We haven't been doing this long enough. So everybody's just got to be patient. So if you want to protect yourself, you will wear a mask and get vaccinated, or at least get vaccinated, or at least wear a mask.
Right.
One of them.
Well, so that was what I was going to say.
And clean your hands.
This is my frustration.
And by the way, I want to reiterate, if you want to protect yourself.
Right.
And those are the only two ways.
Well, can I just say this? So this is the one thing that frustrates me, Shawnee, and I guess with you, if I'm being honest as a friend, and with other people. I'm not going to go as far as calling you an anti-masker, but I will not call you the most aggressive mask user that I know.
Okay.
So, and I imagine that you represent other people in the population who both were not very into masks and not into the vaccine. So to me, that is a source of frustration because if you are going to be anti-vax, can you at least be super
Aggressive.
pro-mask?
Well, I mean,
like, why do we have to get both where it's just like, nah, I don't want to do, the mask is restricting my breathing and the vaccine, well, that's going to give me a third arm.
Well, the vaccine, right. The vaccine, I do not want a third arm. But to be super pro-mask is driving
Rosenberg
by
said
yourself
you might get a third arm
in a car.
He's the next thing to Sanjay Gupta. You gotta, Rosenberg said,
Oh, God.
yo, people listen to some crazy
But
ish out
wait,
here,
let
B.
Shawnee finish. You're saying you don't want to wear a mask in your car.
No, I'm saying being super pro-mask would be driving by myself wearing a mask.
Yeah, that's exaggerated.
You know what I'm saying? That's super pro-mask.
Thank you, Cass. That's an
That's
exaggeration.
being on a treadmill or running outside by myself where there's nobody around wearing
No,
a
but
mask.
you know that's not the deal,
It's
Shawnee.
super pro-mask.
Shorty, come
That's-
on, man.
that's
What do you
not the
mean?
deal.
Shawnee, you got
Wait.
You
Are
haven't
you
even
saying
worn-
that?
Hold on. Shorty,
Come on.
you haven't even worn a real mask this whole time. Let's keep it 1,000 if we're going to keep it.
I mean, randomly.
You wear a scarf.
Well,
You wear-
first
you
of all,
wear
they
a
told us in the
Shawnee, you wore a
beginning.
scarf,
I
you wore a
wear
scarf, and you've never
bandanas.
been- and you've never
All right,
been
hold
COVID
up.
tested.
Hold up. I don't always wear a scarf. I wear a bandana sometimes.
Scarf, bandana, same thing.
However, they told us from the beginning that the air loop masks do not help you. The CDC told us that, right? All
They
the
did not
doctors
say-
that
they
you
did not
trusted.
use the words "do not help."
They said that
said
the
a
protection-
percentage. They did it based on science, and they said this type of mask is super helpful. N95. This type of mask is a little less helpful, and they worked their way all the way down to a bandana, which is the least,
Which is what you wore.
But they
Which
also
is
said
what
the
you wore.
air loop mask do not help with the virus. We've
What's
seen
the air
that.
loop mask?
I don't
That's
know
the
what
ones
air
that
loop
go
is.
around your ears.
No, they
Ear
did not
loop.
say
They
that.
never said the surgical
never
mask
said
did
that.
not
No.
help.
Yes,
That
they
never happened.
did. I will show you. I
No.
got screenshots
From
All right,
where?
send it to me. I
Instagram?
wanna
from the
see it. I never
CDC
heard- I never
because I
heard
knew
it.
they
Send
would
it to me.
adjust it. I'll send
Send
it
it
to
to
you.
me. I never
Send
saw
it
it.
over because I didn't
I've
see
never
that
heard
either.
that. I've never.
Shawnee, if
Go
you're
ahead,
driving by yourself in a car, you don't have to wear a mask.
Once
Shawnee.
again,
Tell
we're
them
You
to
know
getting
get
that.
money.
muddied
Call
and
right now.
distracted by people throwing out
Come
comments
on.
that have nothing to do with the conversation. The conversation is simple. If you want to protect yourself from COVID-19, you can wear a mask and get vaccinated. You can wear a mask, which is not as great as a vaccine, or you can do the great thing, which is get a vaccine. There are people who don't care. That's what this comes down to. They don't care, and they're not going to do anything. And everyone else who's trying to do something is frustrated. But that is part of being in a society with people who have freedoms. That's how this works. So we're going to see if we get to the other side of this or not. Or if this is just a continual cycle of frustration and people asking questions that have nothing to do with nothing.
Right. Now, you also know it's on the box of the surgical mask that states that it doesn't protect you. On the box.
Protect you from what?
From a virus. From a virus. On the actual boxes.
Send it to me. I want to see
Google it. I'm going to send you that too. Everybody should Google that.
So real quick, you have the information, Shawnee, that shows us that A, the mask isn't helpful, and B, the vaccine is dangerous. Don't you think that's an odd coincidence that all of your information happens to lean towards ignore this whole thing, basically? Like, I mean, it's almost as if we were to follow someone like yours logic, no one would have done anything from the very beginning except eating fruits and vegetables and drink lots of water. And I don't think that would have helped us, Shawnee. I don't think that would have helped.
Well, look,
And
not
it's
everybody,
frustrating.
right? Not everybody can, has been maintaining their health in the same fashion. So, look, some people got to take shortcuts. My thing is this: I'm not anti. I am not anti. The message here is only one-sided. So anytime I feel like it's only leaning one way, I'm trying to create a neutral conversation to say, look, there are other alternatives.
The
y'all are like,
conversation
nah,
here
this
is
is the only way. This is
no,
the only
the
way.
conversation here is, I'm going to tell y'all, because I stay in the house and I haven't been vaccinated. The conversation on this program is so that most people can be safe. That's my job. My job isn't to create chaos and confusion. Ebro, the host of this program's job, is to tell people how to save their lives. The best case scenario. I'm not into conjecture. Send it to me. I'm not into conjecture, and I don't know what mask box that is. Because on my mask box, it says this mask can protect you from COVID-19.
This says, warning, the product of an ear loop mask. This product is not a respirator and will not provide any protection against COVID-19 or other viruses or contaminants.
But I need to see the physical box, Shawnee, not a
Where'd
website.
you get these masks from?
This is the
and I would imagine that these mask companies don't want to give anybody any guarantees either.
Of
because they don't want a
course.
lawsuit. The same way when you go out and get the vaccine, they don't want to give you any guarantees either.
Yeah,
Because they don't want a lawsuit. But once again, that's why we are going with the scientists, and we on this program, me, and I won't speak for everybody, me, the host of the program, is telling you, if you want to be the safest, a mask and a vaccine is the thing to do. Beyond that, where we're going now is you are on your own. Because you can go into a Target, a Costco, and do whatever you want to do at this point. And other things are going to be opening up like that also as more and more people get vaccinated, because they're basically like, listen, we gave you a chance to get vaccinated and protect yourself. If you choose not to, you on your own.
Right.
Well, listen, I, co-host of said program, am on board. And Ebro, you plan to get the vaccination once you start leaving the house and your antibodies have dissipated,
Yeah,
correct?
when you get yours.
For sure. For sure. I also, though, and I'll
too.
be honest, I'm going to keep it a bean. I don't get flu shots every year. I don't get shots every year.
Right.
I'm not anti-vax, but I don't get shots every year. If you're telling me I got to get this shot every year, I need to see that information confirmed.
So you're not sure if you're going to take this every year, but you're going to get the vaccine shot.
I'm going to get the vaccine, but going back every year, that's not something I'm into. I don't love that.
So if they say in order to maintain this position that you're in terms of overall health, you're going to have to take this annually, you're not sure if you're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's for me.
But listen, as time goes on, that will become a different conversation for everyone, kind of like the flu. This original
It's the
time
original,
around,
but it
it's a
keeps
little-
changing. It's variants.
But well, that's true too.
New
but
originals
I
all
think
the
at this
time.
point, for us to get to the other side of this, and to get to the point where this really becomes like the flu, because to be clear, it was not like the flu this time around. If you look at the death and hospitalization, it was nothing like the flu. So for us to get to that place,
It
where
was
people
almost like the first time the flu touched down.
And
it was like that flu.
It was like the original flu.
Right. So for us to get to that side where people like Ebro can decide if they want to do it yearly, we really need a high number of the population to do the vaccine at least once so we can get there.
So it sounds like you're basically using your discretion, Ebro.
Yeah.
Rosenberg, you're saying you're using your discretion because it don't matter what doctor tells you about any mask, you're going to use your own discretion. So
But
we
by the
out
way-
here
by
like
the
the
way,
Wild
you're
Wild
flipping-
West anyway.
No,
you know
you're
what I'm saying?
flipping
And
it- you're
everybody using
flipping-
their own personal opinions on how they want to move out here.
But before you jump in, Rosenberg, let me just say, but to Shawnee's point, there is some level of safety being exercised.
And that's what I was going to say. The flip that Shawnee's put
It's
in
not
on
Wild
me-
Wild West. Wild Wild West would insinuate that there is no rule, there is no law, there is no decorum, there is no policy being made. People who are doing something are doing some level of safety versus people doing nothing.
Well, what is not necessarily safe, in my opinion, is getting the vaccine and drowning that with a Krispy Kreme's donut or a burger or some French fries or some other type of milkshake that's going to continue to put phlegm in your system
When you have a
this
valid
is a,
point. But
a
to
thing
your
that
point-
puts phlegm in your lungs.
Right,
It's a
but to your
disease
point-
that
but to
puts
your point-
mucus in your body.
Right, but to your point, because we know, everybody on this program and anybody paying attention, that everybody walking around has their own once again
Defense.
choice to eat and live the way they want to in a free society. Scientists have said, hey, based on what we know about your eating habits in said society, y'all might want to take this vaccine.
Right, because we know, right, overall, we can't trust everybody's going to keep themselves healthy. I've been very mindful about my health for over 20 years and the food that I put into my system. So I'm conscious about any type of vaccine or whatever, and I choose my poisons. I pick my poison.
As a responsible person, which is why I'm the host of the program. As a responsible person,
then you have to push the agenda.
You have to put out information so that people can stay safe. I don't apply everybody's lifestyle to mine.
Gotcha.
They're not riding 100 miles on a bike a week. They're not eating everybody's not doing that.
Not everyone eats sludge three
Right. Nobody just eats fruit smoothies 6 days a week, and that's it. I know that. So I get on the radio and I share with them, hey, fam, you might actually die out here.
And by the way, Shawnee,
but then also on top
of
that, my brother who has MS, which he got through who knows how. Right? It's not on my mom's side of the family. Maybe it's on his dad's. He has multiple sclerosis. He had to do what he had to do to protect himself because he almost died.
Right.
And there are other people, Shawnee, who live healthy lifestyles and got very sick.
Joe, who is 1,000 times healthier than both of us, got COVID from his family member and was very effed up about it.
Right.
And
how long was Joe down for?
He was down for 3 weeks.
And Joe is literally the most healthy person I've ever known in my life.
He just rode up the top of Aspen on a bicycle.
Yo, my
workouts
workouts are just watching Joe on Instagram.
You start sweating when he works out.
Just stay safe, man. You gotta just
to say that for everybody out there
God.
listening, everybody's body is different. We are entering a space and time where you are going to have to protect yourself and make that decision. These corporations and these stores are not health professionals. Just because Target said something, Macy's said something, whoever said something, their interest is their cash register, not your health.
Facts.
So with that in mind, protect yourself. It's Ebro, Lauren Rosenberg. Let's get to the gurus now. Let's do it.
Hey, yo, it's time for the guru, Shani Culture and Rosenberg. And Laura, you know you are a beautiful queen. Ebro, don't ever play yourself. You're not a guru.
TheGuruLaura@gmail.com, where the squad unites. Shawnee, you're going to have to burn extra sage
Extra
right
sage,
now.
let's cleanse the
Some Palo Santo.
Why y'all felt like that was contentious?
It was a little tense, but it's okay. It's necessary.
That's the convo. It's simple
It's
to
necessary.
me, but it's just not simple to some people. That's all.
Right. Well, it's an intense conversation because all of it was intense. 2020 was intense. So anything revolving it has a level of intensity.
Just like the sage.
Oh, sorry. Shh. Burning
Rosenberg.
the energy.
Rosenberg, who is in need of our help.
Oh, well, by the way, still, I have one. I found a good email here that I hadn't gotten to yet, but we need more relationship issues sent to us at thegurulaura@gmail.com. Thegurulaura@gmail.com. If you're reading this, thank you. I'm a loyal listener of the show, and although I know you're not licensed therapists, I do respect your raw reality when addressing the Guru segment. Shout out to Ebro for keeping it 100. And please tell Shawnee to chill with the sage and water and the breathing exercise. It's kind of annoying.
Drink some water. Man. Drink water.
Oh, my God. I don't like this guy already.
I know, right? Go eat a burger then. You know what I'm saying? I drink water. You know what I'm saying?
All right, go ahead, Rosenberg.
Can't we drink water and occasionally have a burger? Okay. So I have an 11-year-old daughter, and I've been an active father since day one. Her mom and I separated when she was 4 years old. Simply put, as people, we grew apart and the romance was tainted. We got so caught up in being parents that we forgot about each other on a personal level. We both had jobs when we lived together and kept opposite schedules, so one of us was always with our daughter. Once the communication fizzled, we just had bad energy around us. As most couples, we went through on and off stage where we tried to figure it out, but then I met this woman. Extremely intelligent, down to earth, and someone who seemed to just get me. We started off as friends, and after a year, it got more personal. I was unaware that my daughter's mom had been watching me and happened to know people in the same area that my friend lived in. To be spiteful, my daughter's mom kept my daughter away from me for weeks at a time, even though we had a joint custody court agreement. This went on for a few years. Her jealous antics kept me from being in a healthy relationship. Meanwhile, the whole time she was dealing with a friend of her own. You would think if she had a man, she would be happy. But nah. Same over-the-top temper when I go to pick up my daughter. And I have a file of verbal, of a verbal tongue lashings that I had to deal with in front of my daughter. For the sake of protecting myself, I have interactions recorded. At the end of the day, she's a good mother, but it's a damn shame she feels she can agree to things in court and then walk out and do whatever she wants. With the pandemic going on, filing motions is not easy, and depending on your case, I feel like they just pick and choose what's important. Most hardworking fathers who support their children openly still get overlooked by family court. I guess my question is, what should I do to keep the peace and get the respect I deserve as an active parent? Do I raise hell and push to go to court and expose my daughter's mom's ways? Or should I just do my best to maintain the peace and document everything until I have an opportunity to share my side of the story? At the end of the day, with my daughter getting older, she's definitely more aware. She's expressed to me that she's not happy with her mom's choices, and for the sake of argument, she keeps it to herself. I feel eventually they may even clash, which is something I don't want to see. If you feel I'm leaving anything out, let me know. I'm just trying to keep the email brief, which you didn't. Thank you in advance, Anonymous.
And what was the question, though?
Oh, man. How does he keep the peace?
Yeah, what should I do to keep the peace and get the respect I deserve as an active parent, or do I raise hell and push to go to court?
The number one thing that raised a red flag that really bothers me is when he said that she kept his daughter away from him for weeks. Whenever I hear, like, when couples are going through issues, I mean, unless it's something like crazy, like physical, but if it's just simple, you guys are not getting along, like, you have no right to keep the baby or the 12-year-old, I forgot how old she is, the kid, away from the dad. I think that's very weak.
And it happens.
The problems are between you two and not between the father and the child.
Right.
And that, to me, is so selfish, and it will fix nothing. And at the end, it just ends up hurting the child.
Well, I'm going to just say this to the man out there who emailed as a dad. You just keep attempting to show up. You keep your energy super positive. You make sure you could try to communicate with your daughter the best way you can. And at a certain point, and this is for all parents out there and people who try to use the children, that child later on in life will realize that you used them.
Yeah. And resent you for
it.
It's going to come. It's going to come.
And when it comes, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
So for the dads and parents, moms too, that may be going through it, you just got to be patient, man.
Yeah,
and you keep making that phone call, you keep making that FaceTime, you keep sending the gifts, you keep making appointments. The other thing I'll encourage is, make appointments, put it in a schedule, lock it in the best you can, and commit to those times and continue to show up at those times.
And also, I'm not mad at him keeping a record of everything, though.
Yeah, he absolutely should.
Because if it gets to the point where it's like she does this again, where she does not want to let you see your child, you have every right to defend yourself in court. And I know it's a pain in the butt, but if you have documented evidence, you have a right to fight for your child.
The toughest piece is this. The courts can only get involved in so many ways until someone literally goes and takes the child from one parent and gives it to another parent. I know some people going through this right now where she keeps my boy's son from him for months at a time, despite him trying to make appointments. They've been to court, but the court can't force the mom to allow him to see his son without like an officer or somebody physically being there.
I know somebody, Ebro, who had to do the exchange of the child at a precinct.
Yeah.
They had to go, and the mom would drop off the child at the precinct. Well, she would be there, and they would do it right in front of the officer. It sucks that it had to get to that, but that's how toxic the relationship was, and that was the only way that they could find peace, and it ended up working for them.
It's terrible, but people are terrible. People are crazy. People make things complicated. We just spent a half an hour discussing masks and vaccine, which is very simple. People make things. It's just how people are. They make things.
But why? My thing that really bothers me. This is so typical, and this kind of goes. It can be about children, or actually, really not. Yo, when you break up with someone, and you're in your own relationship, why are you fouling up someone else's relationship? You're already in your own.
The thing is, the mom is better. You know what I'm saying? It hit her at a time, and she might not know how to let go. But for the pops, remember, it is a long road. I have 3 scenarios of this road. It's a long road. So be patient, as Ebro stated for sure. Keep notes, as Laura stated, because you may need them. Hopefully you don't. But it's going to be all right. You'll get the time with your daughter. I don't even know what to say. It's a long road. Be patient, bro.
That's it. That's all you can do. Spazzing out and acting crazy ain't going to help.
Yeah, don't flip.
No, it's just going to make it worse. Oh, man. We're wishing you the best, man. So say los gurus.
Ebro in the morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Strength, no weakness. We don't do weakness.
Yo, and I know there's somebody in the car like, yo, you don't know the whole story.
Of course
you
we
don't know what he did. You don't know this. He just emailing. We got to go based on the email.
Yeah,
well, and also, it's not really about what the person did at this point. We're talking about that's the problem. People are too focused on what the person did to end the relationship and not focused enough on raising the child.
Well, no, I'm saying in regard to the person who emailed us, the mother potentially thinking he is unsafe in some way, thus keeping the kid away from him.
Well, that's a different story, though.
That's a whole, but we don't, we can't.
Different.
Yeah, that's a whole
situation.
Different thing. But I'm just throwing that out there as for anybody listening, because once people like to muddy the waters. I don't know if you guys know that. People like to muddy things up and throw additives in and not make it a clean convo. You know what I'm saying? On the way, flashing lights, Laura Stiles.
Coming up in a flash and lights report, guys. Joe Budden was accused of sexual harassment.
Yeesh.
Yeah, by DJ Olivia Dope, and he actually put out a statement. So I'll break this down to you. Coming up, flash and lights.
Coming up, Cast 1 right now.
Oh man,
seems like the theme for today's show.
Shaolin, what up?
Yo, damn, I got a Wu-Tang song. We're still playing Protect Your Neck. God damn it.
See that? Don't muddy it up, man. Don't muddy it up.
Familiar versus new. Where you going? Rosenberg, off that project real late. Method Man Raekwon.
Let's go.
Rosenberg on Apple Music. Next Chambers there.
Yeah, you see that.
Single EP. Yo, but when's the album come out?
The album is out June 4th. What are you looking for?
How many days is that from there?
That's 2.5 weeks.
How come I can't add the album right now? Like, so it's already in my thing, like a pre-ad. You know they do that now.
Well, I got to ask my distributor guy. He told me he was doing that in the next few days. I think
so it's on the way.
It is on the way.
Because I think that's key. Because you got something that a lot of people don't have. You're on the radio every day.
So when we plug it, people can add the album.
They can add the album. It's already ready for them. And that way they don't have to, in the moment we're talking about it right now, you would say, yo, that's the single Next Chamber, Method Man Raekwon, Willie the Kid, Staten Island. And then go add the album real late right now. And they could just add it. It wouldn't be the whole album wouldn't be there, but the day that it releases,
it would show up.
Poof.
Is that an Apple Music thing or all the streaming services?
I don't know, but I know Apple Music does it.
All right, I need to check on that. Thank you. If only I knew someone in the industry who knew things like this.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm putting you on right now.
My guy. Thanks, my guy.
Let's go flashing lights, Laura Stiles.
Laura Stiles got the 411 on the flash lights.
I know you're ready for the flashing lights, and Laura Stiles gonna put us on.
So, DJ Olivia Dope from New York recently came out with a video explaining her departure from the Joe Budden network. She was part of a podcast, and she posted a video on her social media basically saying that Joe sexually harassed her. And that's the reason why she left the podcast. So Joe put out a statement. And basically in this statement, he's taking responsibility. He says, as a podcaster, it's my job to address topics and create dialogue around them during the conversation. In in the podcast, I didn't handle the topics with the sensitivity they deserved. I recognize my words and power in that situation created an upsetting environment for Olivia. And upon reflection, both the network and I take full accountability for this. So it was a statement that he gave to Rolling Stone. So he apologized sincerely. He says they're going to take the episode down. But he's pretty much, taking accountability for all of it.
Now, in my many years on the radio and the many sex convos and different things that I've been a part of, what I saw happen with Olivia Dope, I've seen happen before. But the difference is you as a whether it's Joe Budden or whomever's listening to me right now, I didn't watch the whole episode. I just saw him, flirting with her and, trying to, act like he wanted to holler at her. I don't know if that was real or not. I don't know if it continued after it was on the recording.
According to
of the
Olivia
video.
Ebro, there was parts that were edited where he got a little bit more explicit.
But did he pursue her after the program, like in the I guess air quote in the real world? The only reason I say that is because as people go into these shows, and I've seen it and I've been a part of it, and you're having a sex convo and people are talking crazy, and I didn't watch this whole thing, so I'm not speaking specifically on this. I'm just, for anybody out there watching, male or female, because it's happened to me from females and I've done it to females, where you're having sex combos or they're starting to say they would do XYZ to you or they're touching your body, et cetera, et cetera. You have to first check in with them and make sure that they want to be a part of something like that. Mm-hmm. You can't just, all of a sudden jump into a combo with somebody and start, flirting with them or acting like you want to do X, Y, Z to them. And in the video I saw, Joe got up, hugged her, and grinded his hips jokingly. And clearly he knew everybody was watching and there was cameras there, so it wasn't anything he was trying to do underhanded. But clearly Olivia wasn't in on it. She wasn't she didn't, she didn't opt in for that and felt pressure in the moment to participate. You know what I'm saying? Which makes it a different scenario.
And let's also just be real too. I don't know, in this era, like right now, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, with just us knowing more and having a greater understanding and appreciation for the situation that women are inherently in the workplace, you just can't. We don't talk about things the same way. It's just not quite the same. And I don't know when that conversation was from, but I'm sure that conversations I would have deemed appropriate because they were fun and on the radio before probably wouldn't feel that way anymore.
Yeah, I think she quit. I think it happened 2-3 months ago.
Oh, so it's very
It's
recent.
recent. Yeah, it's very recent.
Well, good for him. Good for him for owning it though, and not trying to fight it and just saying that he messed up.
There's no fight. He'd be an idiot.
Yeah, well said.
Right. This is an interesting story. Issa Rae says that basically Nipsey Hussle helped her and Lauren London make up. So she expressed it's just an interesting story because I'm like, Issa Rae didn't like Lauren London? Where did this come from? So basically, back in the day, during her Awkward Black Girl series, her web series, she pretty much kept dropping Lauren London's name, saying that she would be perfect to play the lead character. And I think Lauren London took it as offensive. What? I'm an awkward black girl? So they didn't really mess with each other. And then Nipsey, during an event, got them to talk, you know what I mean? And got them to kind of connect and make up. But
if they really had a problem over that, I got a button for them. It was. The awkward black girl was a skit.
Don't give the butt to Lauren London.
It was acting, bro. What are we talking about? What?
You've gotten confused about acting before.
Who, me?
Yeah, when we interview actors.
Those are documentary people when we're interviewing. I know the difference.
You sure?
I know the difference.
You know who Franklin Saint is? Is Franklin Saint a person or an actor?
Yo, listen, Snowfall, the documentary about Gary Webb and crack cocaine in South Central.
Again, that's not a documentary. It's an actor.
Uncle Jerome was there.
Well, no, Uncle Jerome is a real person.
At your flash and electric board, the time is 8:55, high of 88 degrees. Alternate side parking rules are in effect.
By the way, if anybody thought I was joking, I'm not. There is a real story. Look it up, Gary Webb.
How close is it?
It's Gary Webb broke the story. But, you know, in Snowfall, the journalist who gets killed by the CIA guy, that journalist in real life is a man at the San Jose Mercury News who they say committed suicide. Look it up, Gary Webb.
Wow.
Who broke the story on the Iran-Contra, the whole funding of a war. You know, that's the Oliver North story, the Ronald Reagan, the whole thing in the 80s.
Yeah.
But the person who, the journalist is actually a man named Gary Webb.
I'm looking him up right now.
And then, so it's based on real instances. And the Franklin Saint character, they say, is loosely based on Freeway Rick Ross. You know, because Freeway Rick Ross was kind of a good kid who played tennis. Then he met a tennis instructor who taught him about selling cocaine. And then the crack thing happened, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Did the Israeli guy really show up?
I don't know. I don't know. But I'm sure there were some rich people involved.
That's for sure.
I'm sure there were some rich criminals involved. I mean, look, if you ever watched the documentary Cocaine Cowboys, you guys ever watched that?
But that actually is a documentary.
Yeah, that's a real documentary, but that's all happening around the same time. 80s.
Common sense, right decision. I became Lieutenant Raymond. Because I'm running for office, I am currently on leave, but I'm still a member of the department technically.
And how does that work? So, like, you could technically retire now and become a politician. Could you become city council and then decide to go back into the force? How does that work?
Nah, it's pretty much it because once you win a party nomination, and the primaries are June 22nd, you essentially you have 10 days to give up your position with the city. So June 22nd, I'll do my walkout, which is how we retire from the police force. Within that week, I'll do the walkout. I just got to win first,
And you're running for which city council seat?
So that's going to be District 40, which is in Brooklyn. That's Central Brooklyn. That's Flatbush, East Flatbush, Kensington, Ditmas Park, Prospect Lefferts Garden, parts of Midwood, and the very southern part of Crown Heights. That real middle part of Brooklyn.
And what's the community saying to you? Are you getting feedback? I mean, I hear your name a lot. Obviously, I follow you, so I'm kind of inside your bubble. I've donated to your campaign.
Appreciate it.
But what's the street saying?
So it's a combination. There's a little generational gap where folks that are a little older, they really, because remember, I didn't do the work for any type of publicity or fame. I just did it because I'm really trying to get this work done. So there's a generational gap. Some people are not aware, but once they learn my story, they're on board. With the younger folks, they for the most part, they have an idea of who I am. Last year, which we're going to get into, we saw unprecedented protests, which really put a lot of attention on policing and like even on social media. It was bittersweet because I would wake up with 4,000 more followers, and I'm like, what happened? And I would notice Snoop Dogg just shared something from me or somebody else, and every time there's police misconduct, I become more known, which is bittersweet because it's like I want people to know the work so we can make the changes, but it hurts that it has to happen because the people are getting hurt and killed out there. But so for the most part, the streets, once they know my story, they're on board. So I just got to make sure my story is known.
You can go to edwinraymond.com. Edwin Raymond for NYC Council has a link there. Register to vote. You can learn all about him. But going back to, when the public notoriety started was the documentary Crime and Punishment, correct?
A little bit before that, there was a New York Times article.
Got it. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, definitely put things on another level because, it's just easier to digest the information. You press play and you take it in versus actually reading and doing research and going deeper. And the documentary, it ended up, a year after I first did your show, it actually won the Emmy, It was shortlisted for the Oscars, won a plethora of awards. And, it's like, I remember when I went to the Image Awards last year, and I didn't think, I'm not a celebrity. So people stopped me in the street in LA. They recognized me from the documentary. That was a very different feeling, and police officers have been reaching out all over. Hulu/Disney did the right thing last year after the murder of George Floyd. I spoke with them and they made the film available for free on YouTube.
Yeah,
and now it's available worldwide on YouTube. And every week I get someone that watches it, law enforcement, non-law enforcement, and they're like, wow, this is motivational. It's inspirational. And other police officers have become whistleblowers after seeing the film. So it's doing what it's supposed to do.
What have your relationships been like within the NYPD over the last year or two?
So after I did the show, obviously they didn't like that.
You really? Don't say.
Yeah.
Well,
Ebro, man. Oh man, we might have to talk off air because a lot of cops hit me up, man. I don't know. I don't know if you have too many fans in the police department.
Y'all don't like me, NYPD? What's the problem? What's the problem? Was it something I said?
Oh man, what's fair? I've done so many interviews, but I swear, the interview on your show is top 3, one of my favorites, man. It's just, I know everything I'm gonna say, and I'm still excited to watch it. You know what I mean? It was a good interview. But yeah, so they've, it's unfortunate, man. Rather than see me as an asset, they just I'm enemy of the state, and this is part of the reason why I've decided to go for city council. The council breaks up into different committees. I'm aiming to be the chair of the public safety committee. So rather than trying to get the leadership to acknowledge that I can actually help this thing, I'm going to be in a position where listen to me. It is what it is, and obviously a city council position, it's not all about policing. So I've been doing my homework. I have good mentors, Jamani Williams being one of them. And I'm ready for the position. I just got to get elected. But overall, a lot of cops have always reached out and said they appreciate and support what I'm doing, even the upper echelon. But it's gambling with your career to speak out like this, and most people are just not willing to go through that.
Do you ever fear that you're I'm sorry, Laura, that you're gambling with your life?
Oh no, that's exactly what it is. It's something I don't like to talk about too much. But I actually got death threats, and it is, that's like so many times I've been there where the hood thankfully recognized me. There's a situation I'm not going to talk too much about in detail, but all I know is I was definitely set up, and one of the OGs was like, yo, no, that's Dread. Nah, Dread is good. And I was so thankful that he recognized that, the work and the situation that should have went south. Instead, the community really caught me. And it's ironic and unorthodox being a police officer and the community really having your back like that. But shout out to the community, man.
Well, and that's because, and this might be why people in the NYPD don't like me. It's because the community doesn't want most of the things going on in the community that are going on.
That's it.
And things are exacerbated because there's too many corrupt cops that want the goings on because they get kickbacks, whether it be from the bail system, whether it be from private incarceration companies and publicly trade, all of that. They get kickbacks, man, to their unions and all that. So a lot of the crime that goes on, it's an inside job. Edwin, you know it. I know it. That's what they don't like about me is because I talk about it. And it's the white supremacists that activate inside these police precincts all over the country, that the FBI has talked about, that the Attorney General at the state of New York, Tish James, has talked about. That's what they don't like. They want to be able to run around with their badge and a gun, be the end-all, be-all for everything, and go unchecked. And that's not going to fly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you said it. And the leadership, they perpetuate that culture. One of the things that's always asked is about diversity and how diversity is the answer. And I always tell them not necessarily, because to simply put more black and brown bodies in uniform, but then expect them to just play along with whatever the system was before and not truly embrace and tap into what that means. There are nuances that you can offer being, black and brown and then joining the police department, but the leadership never sits those people at the table and says, you know what, we've been doing things this way. We want to learn from you. To teach us what it's like to be in the hood and what are better ways that we can get public safety without violating people's rights. That's not what's asked of black and brown cops. We just basically, we're basically
it's
told.
Vanity, bro.
It's just like, yo, be happy that you got hired. That's basically what the Bible is.
Do your 20 years, get your pension, and stay out the way.
That's it, And every time for public relations purposes, every time they want to say, look, what do you mean? Look, we're diverse. They'll throw somebody, you know, pull somebody out of the attic and be like, go stand there and let them, you know, let the people think we're diverse. But the true essence of diversity is not supposed to be cosmetic. It's supposed to be much deeper in terms of what experiences can those people bring, not just when it's time to pacify the community. Let's put some stars on a black man and throw him in front of the people. You know, I'm tired of it. You know, I hate to be so frank, but that's not what we need. It's never been what we've needed. We need real reform. And, you know, 5 years ago, there were people that were calling for reform that are today are just like, you know what, enough, abolish the whole system. And we didn't have to get to that point. The leadership really ran this thing to the ground, to the point where people that felt that it was salvageable now feel there's just no way. I still feel it's salvageable because, you know, I have that inside experience and I kind of know what levers to pull and what buttons to push. Again, and this is why I'm trying to get to City Hall to do it.
Edwin, we've all seen you and your documentary. You've been working so hard for change within the NYPD, right? But tell us about your experience being a police officer during the protests, how people viewed you and the type of reactions you got.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to hear from you.
Yeah, so that was challenging, you know, and I'm used to the criticism because obviously I was even critical of myself for joining the police department in the beginning. But before I even get into that, Laura, I want to speak about what the atmosphere was like right before. You know, it was social distancing. I actually just did the show to try to get some folks to really take Corona serious. And immediately we saw the disparities in how social distancing was handled. One part of Brooklyn, cops were giving out masks and just not even caring who was who.
That would be that would be the white wealthy part.
Thank you, Ebro. They can always count on Ebro. And obviously in the hood, it was basically the police department. They, in typical police department fashion, took the broken windows approach. They used social distancing, the lack of mask, as the justification to make that police stop. And we saw people getting slammed to the ground immediately. So that's what we were going through. And then George Floyd happens. And I remember watching that video and I said, wait, what? Is he really still on that man's neck? I remember seeing EMS come to render medical services and he's still on that man's neck. You know, and I just remember saying, I remember sending the video to a few people like, this one is different. And then immediately, Laura, I saw something that I never saw before and I never thought I would see. Cops all over the country were going to social media, sometimes even in their uniforms, and denouncing that video, denouncing the actions of Officer Chauvin. And I was shocked to see that, you know, and unfortunately it didn't last long because the mass protests started. Rightfully so, the mass protests started all around the world, from Lagos to London, you know, Tokyo to Toronto. Everybody was protesting because the video was just egregious. And then eventually, inevitably, Lieutenant Raymond has to go and work these protests. So the first day I was at the Brooklyn and Manhattan Bridge, and man, I felt it. I felt the energy. The crowd didn't know how to receive me. Some people recognized me, which was awesome. Jamani Williams was out there. He gave me a pound. That confused a lot of people. And then inevitably, there were situations where the protesters were going head to head, clashing with the cops. And I was able to basically, I basically took leadership in those situations. And I got so much respect from the protesters, but I looked over at the chief's faces and you could just feel the hate, you know. They didn't understand. Like the us versus them it's the worst I've ever seen it. And they did not, rather than again see an asset, I felt the energy. Like there was one situation where they completely blocked the Manhattan Bridge. They even
kettled them in there.
Yeah. Not that one. I'm talking about the protesters blocked the bridge.
Oh, right.
You know, like in civil disobedience, but they use like NYPD tactics. So there's certain ways that NYPD bike unit uses bikes to create barriers. They mimicked some of the most organized protesting I've ever seen. They had medics and radios. Since Occupy Wall Street, I've been working protests. I've never seen how sophisticated the protests have become. And, there were ambulances, there were different emergency vehicles that needed to get to Manhattan from Brooklyn. And I was able to walk out and speak to one of the leaders in the protest group. And basically, out of respect, he opened up the lane, one lane, just for those vehicles. And you would think that'd be respected and seen as, you know what, Lieutenant Raymond has, he's law enforcement, so he understands public safety, but at the same time, the community embraces him. Let's tap into this. But nah, man, you know. But eventually, folks that went head to head with me, because sometimes it happened. You know, you're a traitor, you're a coon. I had to hear everything that black cops get. A lot of them did then go do research and got back at me on Instagram, like, wow, I had no idea. I appreciate you. I had no idea that you existed. You know, especially to see a man with locks, you got a Kente mask on and you standing there with them, you know, but then, you know, after they did the research, for the most part, the respect comes very iota, just maybe half of 1% of people, no matter, they don't care what I've done. They don't care how much I've sacrificed. You join police, you're part of the problem. There's like a moral question, like just the fact that you would join law enforcement, seeing how problematic and detrimental it is. I don't mess with you. And I always tell them, like, look at public school. We know that system is messed up, but we never say someone's wrong for becoming a teacher. If anything, we commend the teachers that get in and do make differences. There are some teachers that put blood, sweat, and tears into their curriculum and into their students, and we commend them. You know, we acknowledge them. So why can't we acknowledge
Great point.
that when a police officer takes that type of initiative? You know, why can't we respect that? But it is what it is.
Because
My
teachers,
objective,
we don't have videos of teachers killing people and not getting held accountable.
Yeah,
That's
you're right.
why.
I mean, it's more obviously the violence is, if it bleeds, it leads. You know what I mean? So that's always going to jump out.
But yeah,
more.
that's the piece. The violence is the piece.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the things we talk about on this program is we are literally up here. We're not asking cops to, you know, when they get into a violent altercation or somebody's got a gun, you know, to put their gun away and potentially harm themselves. That's not what we're asking of police officers. We're asking them to not kill people who are unarmed. But time and time again, we see mass shooters who get safely taken into custody, right? And so as people who are on the outside, just as the public, but why do we always see these black men getting gunned down? That's the problem. People can't digest that any longer, and they won't. And so, look, I salute you all, as always, for doing the work, and for the audience out there, you know, whether it was, you know, talking about the quota systems that exist inside the NYPD or standing inside in solidarity with Colin Kaepernick. Edwin Raymond's always been there, so he's ready to do the work. And clearly he hasn't got enough of doing the work of signing up to city council, different type of annoying work. Mm-hmm. Right? And you're ready for that? Other than being on the public safety committee, what are some of your other platforms as you run for city council of the 40th district, right?
Correct, 40th.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have to pay attention to the times. And right now, you know, COVID relief is essential. This is what people are hurting. People are hurting. People have lost loved ones. People have lost their jobs. The economy is still suffering. So different types of COVID relief. We have to invest properly into education. Listen, I'm not an expert on everything, but as a leader, what I do is I speak to different stakeholders. So with my education plan, I've spoken to teachers, parents, and even students, you know, to put together a robust response to what the issues are. And one of the things that you're always going to hear is funding. That's definitely a part of it, because you need to fund that. What the ideas have to have money behind them to become tangible. But we also have to, there's a lot of changes that are needed in the education system also. There's a lot. I'm not a parent yet, and I haven't been in public school in a minute, but my friends who are teachers, what they've shared with me since last year, you know, the nuances of what goes on, there's a much better response than just funding, because money can be mismanaged and spent wrong. So simply throwing more money at the problem is not always the solution, but we do have to make sure things are properly funded. Housing, right? Flatbush. If you saw Flatbush 10 years ago and today's a completely different place, you know, all these tall buildings going up all over, residential buildings, and oftentimes the community is they're not with it because they can't even afford a tour in the building. They've been here all their lives, poured so much into this community, and yet they're watching these structures be built and they can't even get it taught. So we have to change what affordable housing means. That's a big part of my platform now. Some of these things are not within the city council's immediate power, but that's where I'll continue to be a voice for the people and the voiceless, and work with federal partners to change what's called the area median income, which is how affordability is calculated for housing. Of the AMI, the affordable, area median income, there are different counties such as Westchester and
that shouldn't
Suffolk.
be included. We've been talking about that for years on here.
We can't. How do you compare someone in Flatbush, who's lower working class, to someone pulling six figures living in Westchester, and then setting the percentage to that? It's disrespectful, really. So but it can be changed. It doesn't have to remain that way. Obviously, developers are not going to be happy because that eats into the profit. But if we continue at this rate, we're going to have real issues in the city, much worse than what we're seeing now. So these are the different things that I want to tackle in the city council. Also, I really want to invest into the youth in the community. I'm still young enough to kind of still be there with them where I can understand them. But it's like J. Cole said, the middle child. I'm right there. I'm actually the same age as J. Cole, so I'm right there where I understand the young folks, but I'm still cut from the older community. So, but that generational gap, we got to pour into them. Discretionary funding. Every council member gets over $1 million to spend they're supposed to spend it within their district. That's a whole different subject. And I plan to invest into the district in ways that we haven't seen. Shout out to Michael K. Williams, who's a supporter and friend. We've spoken on expanding arts. 2 months ago, a man was assaulted with a bat on the corner of Flatbush and Parkside. He ended up being one of the best friends of Jean-Michel Basquiat. They grew up together in Flatbush. And to think that Jean-Michel Basquiat is from Flatbush and there's no performing visual arts center in his name, where young folks can get the grooming and the mentorship that they need to become our next, audio engineers, to become our next fashion designers and painters, et cetera. These are things that discretionary funds can be used to expand into the community on, and a plethora of other things, Ebro. I'm so excited and ready to do this, man. You have no idea.
Are there any mayoral candidates that you like what they're saying? Do you like what Eric Adams is saying about public safety? Maybe Yang, Diane Morales,
Catherine Garcia.
So a lot of people they make the connection with me and Eric because there's a lot of similarities there, and I admire Eric. As a kid, I watched him on the news, speak truth to power at the podium, despite being a police officer. So he had already blazed that trail to let me know that if I ever wanted to, I can do it also. Obviously, there's going to be consequences, but I can do it also. There's going to be, we're still different people. So I'm still a member of the police department. So my information is much more up to date. There are some things that Eric shares that, I would love to update him on that just doesn't happen the same way anymore as it was 15 years ago when he left. But for the most part, he understands. He understands where there are detriments and balance is needed. Yang, shout out to Yang. Also, Yang's campaign actually reached out for my expertise in criminal justice and police issues. So I've been keeping them as sharp as possible on certain things. There are a few things we disagree on, such as plainclothes, the jump out boys. We don't need officers do not need to work in plainclothes. Maybe like intelligence officers because the uniform is not essential there. But the whole jump out boy, that whole thing, the D's, that thing that we had going, we don't need that. It's not essential.
You and Eric Adams disagree on that. He likes that unit.
They don't have to be in plain clothes. That's my main thing, because when they're not in plain clothes, it's less accountability. You barely know who they are. They're supposed to identify themselves, but there's a lot of games that get played. They can stay in unmarked vehicles. They can stay focused on primarily violent felonies. I can agree with that as long as it's being done within the parameters of the Constitution. But being in plain clothes is not essential. I've actually spoken to officers that used to be in that unit or are still, because the unit was revamped. They basically do the same thing, just now in uniform. They call it public safety officers. I've spoken to officers who are currently in public safety, and they even realize, you know what? We didn't have to be in plain clothes. It wasn't even essential. So,
but they
'cause
like
it's not
the tight.
they're
But they
undercover.
like their tight V-neck T-shirts and their flex fit Yankee hats. They love those. And
Yo,
those.
Ebro,
And why
man.
do they wear them weird jeans? Y'all got weird pants. Y'all be wearing.
And why do the
Ebro,
cops not like Ebro? Things we don't know.
Why y'all dressed like that, fam?
I'm gonna get so many
Everybody-
text messages, man.
Yo, everybody know y'all plain clothes by how y'all dress. Y'all dress terrible.
Oh man, even Laura's shaking her head, man.
You like your tight V-neck white T-shirt.
But yeah, so it's not essential to get the job done. Let's listen. We do have to speak about public safety. There's been a serious uptick in violent crimes, like the old school numbers. We lost like 50 homicides in April. To compare, in 2017, we finished the year with less than 300 homicides. So to think in April, where it's not even hot yet, where it's not even, millions of people outside every day in each other's faces yet, and we lost 50 people in April alone, and May is not looking good. We do have to discuss that. But one thing I want to make clear, because confirmation bias is dangerous. Those who are against reform automatically say, you see, defund the police. That's what y'all wanted, right? Ha ha, now look. Listen, I pay attention. As someone that's critical of the department and their tactics, I have to meticulously pay attention. In homicides and shootings happens the second week of March 2020. That's before Ahmaud Arbery. That's before Breonna Taylor. And that's before the unprecedented protests that we've seen since the murder of George Floyd.
It's COVID.
So there's no correlation there. All right. That's your bias getting confirmed because that's what you want to believe. All right. And you can check the numbers. You can check the stats. Obviously, if I'm saying it, I know like anything I say is up to interpretation, is up for review. So please do the research. The numbers start to climb, unprecedented numbers in comparison to 2019 in March of 2020.
And that's COVID related.
Yeah, 100%, man. Because
they said the court system shut down, COVID related. Then you had the joblessness kick in, and then it was ill too. Like April, May 2020, it was mad fireworks being shot off all over the place. Remember that whole fireworks shit?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that one out because it's like somebody just dumped the truck. Because it ain't your regular M80 and couple skyrockets. It was some serious, sophisticated stuff going off all over the city.
Edwin, motherfuckers had the full Macy's Day Parade shit going on in Brooklyn, bro.
Word. No, I know.
Bro, that was look, and by the way, the same thing was happening in LA. The same thing was happening in Philly. The same thing was happening in Atlanta. And the violence that we're talking about in New York right now, the same thing's going on all over the United States. Where are the guns coming from? Why aren't the police shutting it down? And it just so happens to align with everybody putting scrutiny on police officers, and now violence is out of control. Just like they do when they destabilize nations, Edwin Raymond. They start conflict and violence because they know that people will vote more conservative when there's violence outside. They will vote for older folks, and voters will vote for someone who is more law and order if there's more violence outside. And the Republicans and all the people on the other side that want more Trump, more conservatism, more all of that, bruh, the police unions, all of them are aligned, man. They working in concert. You can't make me believe nothing else. And it's a perfect storm. COVID, all the scrutiny on police, all of it. It's the perfect storm. The perfect storm.
I mean, those are great points, and just speaking more to the violence, the one thing I can say, I've given so much thought to is the bail reform. Listen, bail was never designed to keep people in jail. Bail is designed to make sure you show up to court, which is why the prices were set depending on the severity of the offenses, the charges, to make sure you show up. If you put this money down, this is how much money you lose if you don't show up, and we're going to get you anyway with the warrant squad or the bounty hunters, et cetera. And the way that it's been used to purposely keep people in by setting high bail, I agree with getting rid of that. But we do have to make sure that there's balance, that the pendulum doesn't swing too far in a other direction. Because as I look through the list of things that you automatically are basically released for with the court date, some of the we have to tighten it up a little bit. Some of the offenses and charges don't make sense. Like certain degrees of robbery and burglary, you just release for weapons charges, arson, different types of child abuse. Believe it or not, promoting and possessing sexual performance by a child. You just get released for that. You don't get remanded. Now, should bail be should it be bail? Not necessarily, but depending on certain
because people
offenses.
could get bail. Technically,
Exactly,
you don't.
that too.
Some of those people, you don't even want them to have bail.
And that's where I'm going with this. Like
I agree with you.
we as a society, we have to have that larger conversation about how we handle certain charges. Because yes, habeas corpus, you have the right to due process. You're not guilty, until you're guilty by the court. But at the same time, we've seen the pattern where someone was arrested for that weapon and 3 months later actually didn't caught the body. So we do have to ask ourselves, if we treated that weapons charge back in March a little bit more serious, that body wouldn't have been caught in June. And some people are not going to want to hear this, but I respond to those people as they're taking their last breath, squeezing my ankle, saying, please don't let me die. It takes a toll on you, man. And you got to meet parents who, got to the point, man, depending on the scream from the woman, I could tell if it was the baby mom, if it was the mother, if it was the girlfriend, if it was the sister. Like, I was able to categorize the screams, bro. That's how many homicides I was responding to. And listen, we gotta be serious about how we deal with this. Now, the over aggressive, throw out the fishnet and grab everybody up. Well, we don't want to do that. Looking for a needle in the haystack, so burn the whole haystack. We don't want to do that. We need surgical methods of getting those who are the most violent. But at the same time, you got to remember, public safety is not the sole responsibility of law enforcement. We need resources. Other communities, I use Italians. Back in the days, mafia was dropping bodies all up and down the East River. Bones are still being dug up all over Brooklyn, South Brooklyn, and yet we didn't over-police the entire Italian community. We surgically went after those who were most violent, and the rest of the Italian community got the resources so that they don't go into those lifestyles. There's no reason why Black and brown people don't deserve that same treatment, that same response. And this is what the United States has done. It's just treated us so different in how things get handled. Substance abuse is a big one that many people have spoken about. When it's us sending narcotics, when it's others, we need injection sites. We need an entire unit of detectives dedicated to finding the root of the issue. We need officers with Narcan able to bring people back to life, who have overdosed. And those are all great things. And I'm glad they're there. But why weren't they there 25 years ago when there was people that looked like us who were suffering, when there was people who looked like us who were on the receiving ends of these issues? And this is what the United States has been guilty of that we have to change. And this is why we just need people that are brave enough to do it, that are courageous enough to do it. You need people that understand what public service means. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the people you represent.
Edwin Raymond, City Council, District 40, Brooklyn. Thank you for your time today, man.
Thank you, Edwin.
If people want to follow, donate, how does it go down? EdwinRaymond.com?
Yeah, EdwinRaymond.com. E.Raymond_, just Edwin Raymond on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. Edwin Raymond NYC on Twitter, Edwin Raymond on Facebook. And please, guys, check out Crime and Punishment on YouTube. It is free now. You don't need to have Hulu anymore. It's Crime, the +sign Punishment, or put Crime and Punishment, put documentary. It's also the name of a famous book, so other things are going to come up. And you'll see the green glow, the green border around the thumbnail. That lets you know it's the Hulu doc. You'll learn, you get a crash course in the work that I've done. And, let's make this happen. Let's get some real progressives into city council. One thing I'll close on is, when me and the 11 other officers went public, we had hoped the self-proclaimed progressive mayor would embrace us, and he didn't. When Frank Serpico, look him up, 1973, blew the whistle on corruption, that mayor, then Mayor Lindsay, it triggered an investigation into what Serpico was saying. That's what we hoped de Blasio would do, but he didn't. Instead, almost 6 years later, law department of the city continues to fight the lawsuit. our lawsuit has the potential to change policing in America. And had de Blasio embraced us 6 years ago, that's what would have happened. So many things probably would not have happened because people emulate New York's policing style. So at this point, he's on his way out. Let's get the right people in there so we can get to move this thing forward. I appreciate being on the show. It's probably going to be top 4 favorite interview. And I listen, I appreciate it, and I won't let you guys down. I'll continue being here for the people.
Thank you, Edwin.
Raymond, thank you so much,
Thank
man.
you, Edwin.